As a courtesy to your fellow media members, as well as the coaches and our student athletes from Auburn, please silence your cell phones and provide your name and address, or I did it again, your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during this press conference. Recording these press conference video on cell phones is prohibited. And we'll address questions in the room first and then take questions from Zoom. We'll start with a statement from Butch, then we'll open it up to questions for the student athletes only, and then we'll come back to Butch for his questions. Butch, give us an oversight. Congratulations on getting here.
Thank you. The Auburn Tigers, this is our 6th trip to Omaha, and our university is ecstatic. We were here in 2019, and we do have a few of those players that return, and those are probably some of our best leaders. And we've added some pieces along the way to get back here 2 of the last 3 tournaments, and couldn't be happier. Had an amazing journey through the rigorous SEC, and still looks like we're going to have to compete against some of those foes here this week. But it's been a great journey, an amazing group of coaches. Our coaches have so much experience. They've done an amazing job. All the members of our staff that's helped us, and an amazing group of ball players. This is personally year 30, and may have been the finest journey for me, and that's because of our players, our student athletes, and how they've worked for us. Watching amazing moments, having a front seat to some amazing things they've done along this journey. They've been challenged with low expectations, and it just drove them even more to this point. And we're kind of walking in here thinking we're not done yet, and that's a great feeling for a baseball team. And we hope the best is yet to come this week, but we sure are thankful to be here. And this is kind of the pinnacle for us and for college baseball, and glad the Auburn Tigers are part of this session.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions for the student athletes only at this point. And back here in the back.
Jordan McAlpin at the Omaha World Herald. Sonny, when you transfer here, I'm sure these are the moments that you envision, but for this to be a reality, what's it mean to be on this stage?
Oh, yeah, man. I think it's everything everybody dreams of, playing baseball, you know. All of us, we're so excited, and we work so hard to get here. And just like Coach Thompson said, our motto this week is just, we're not done.
Right here.
Parrish Alford, Daily Journal, Tupelo, Mississippi. Sonny, how many players on mid-major rosters do you believe are capable of transferring, moving up, and making the kind of impact that you and also R.J. Yeager at Mississippi State, another? What's that number? Is it 50%? Is it higher, lower?
I mean, it could be 100%. I mean, if those guys want to transfer and go somewhere where they believe they can play and they work hard enough, they'll be able to do it.
Okay.
Adam Cole, the Opelika Auburn News. This is a question for Kaysen and Carson, but your guys' second trip here to Omaha, I just wanted to know maybe how different this trip feels than the first time around in 2019.
Okay. I think this time around, kind of our motto of not done yet is really sticking with us. It's really taking a hold of this team, and I think that we have a great vision of winning a national championship and bringing home that trophy for the first time in this program. And in 2019, we had a great vision too, but I think this team is just so unified that it feels like, it's very, we're in a good position.
Carson.
Yeah, kind of following what Kaysen said, the motto back in 2019 was kind of, let's make it to Omaha. And then this year it's been, go out and let's win a national championship. Just making it here is not good enough for us. So we're going to go out and do everything we can to prove it and prove ourselves.
Right here.
Jason Caldwell, Auburn 247. Kaysen, you started 4 years ago, starter heading into this one. How different does it feel as a senior, all the stuff you guys have gone through, heading out there as one of the veterans on the team now in Omaha?
I think kind of like I was saying in 2019 as a freshman, it took me probably 3 innings to realize what was going on when I was out there, because I was just amazed of, how cool the stadium was and everything. And now it's just, with the leadership that this team has and being there and going through it, the motto of not done yet, and we have to prove it. And like Coach Thompson said, the low expectations have driven us all year, and it's still driving us. So that hasn't stopped. And so I think just this team is just very unified, and we have a great chance to do it. So.
Hello. Brian Stoltz, Auburn Rivals. This question is for Carson. In the first inning in the game one against Oregon State, the entire bullpen went running out to the bullpen, and Oregon State fans kind of got on you. Was that kind of a motivating factor when you guys came in and kind of shut the door on them?
You know, it's kind of weird. You know, Trace has been a rock for us all year, and you know he's still a rock. You know, having to go help him out, and you know it's a team game, and you know hearing those fans, it was kind of shaking, but at the same time, it's like, all right, let's go. It's time to work. Time to go do our thing.
Okay, Joe.
Joe Menzer, ESPN, SEC Network. Kaysen and Carson, I just kind of wonder what your first impressions were when Sonny shows up on the scene and kind of just captivates the whole Auburn fan base. And Sonny, did you imagine that you would hit this well, as quickly as you did, and carry it through like you did?
Start with Kaysen.
So I played against Sonny for a long time when he was at Sanford, and you know every time he came up to the box, it was don't pitch to this guy, don't let him beat you. And so really when he came to Auburn, I had no, I was not surprised how well he did and fit in, and I'd heard nothing but good things about him from everybody who knew him, and so you know him just coming in and just being. Just a great locker room presence. I mean, everybody loves him. Obviously, the fan base loves him. And, you know, his professionalism he goes about every day in practice, and the way he goes about his business is just it's infectious, and it's really just helped our team become a lot stronger.
Carson.
Yeah, I would say for me, me and Sonny have grown up playing together since we were, 6 years old? Yeah, 6 years old all the way through high school, and then played against each other while he was at Sanford. And, you know, I've been able to see him growing throughout his whole life, how good of a hitter he really is. And for him to come here and just be able to do his thing, it's been amazing to see.
Sonny.
Yeah, man, just when I showed up day one and saw these guys and met everybody and just how hard they worked and saw how hard they worked, it kind of infected me. And I just really put my nose down and just wanted to win so bad with these guys. And, you know, spring comes around and we're hungry, man. We still are.
Okay, Jordan.
For all three of you guys, you obviously go on the road up to a tough regional in Corvallis. You come out of that. How well has this team been clicking the last few weeks?
Carson, you start.
I'd say we've been clicking really good. You know, our offense has been picking it up. Swinging the bat's really good. Our pitching staff is pulled together when we need to. You know, there's not really much else outside of that other than the fight and the grit that this team has.
Kaysen.
I think we've picked each other up really well. You know, we've had some really good offensive games in that regional, and then struggled with the bats a little bit, and our pitchers have just continued to fill up the strike zone. We play great defense every day. We take pride in that, and when you lean on each other and you pick each other up, you know, good results happen. And I think that's shown within the regional and the super regional.
Sonny.
Yeah, piggybacking off of Kaysen a little bit. I mean, our defense and our pitching and our hitting, I mean, everything's gonna work out timely. And so, I mean, that regional, we scored, I don't know, however many runs, 51 runs in 3 games, and then come to the super regionals and we're relying on our pitching a little more. And so everything's kind of going full circle, and our defense has just been rock solid as well.
Okay, Adam.
I guess kind of for all three of you, I know you guys are focused on the weekend, but 2 College World Series appearances in 3 years. Just what does that say about the program that's being built and you know the direction that things are going with Auburn baseball?
Sonny, you start.
I think it just kind of shows a testament to this man right here and how hard he works every day and how much he enjoys us and how much he just loves investing into us and, I mean, more people to come. I mean, I didn't know Coach Thompson that well until, you know, I got on campus. And so just the way he's invested in me, I know that's how every new player is. He just invests in them.
Kaysen.
Yeah, like Sonny said, Coach Thompson has he's just been incredible for this program. He's done everything. He works hard. When I got on campus in 2018, coming from preparing for the 2019 season, that 2018 team had a heartbreaking loss in that super regional in Florida, and you could tell like something was happening with the program, that we were striving for this moment right now, for 2 College World Series appearances in 3 years, and you could tell like it was starting to roll, and that if you didn't want to be a part of it, then you could go somewhere else, and that this team was built to win and to win national championships, and that all started with Coach Thompson.
Carson.
Yeah, just, the same motto as Sonny and Kaysen just presented out there. It all starts with Coach Thompson. And he's got the work and drive and just desire to make us better, not just better baseball players, but better men. And I think that's very special in a program. I think that speaks more to him than just being a great baseball coach.
Okay, Brian.
Maybe this is for Carson again, but you guys could all speak. How confident and how much confidence does it give you to have somebody like Blake Burkhalter coming in, can get 8 outs when needed, can come in and save the ninth? How much confidence does that give you as a pitcher and as a defense behind him?
As a pitcher, having him follow you up it's a big confidence boost. You don't have to worry about being too perfect and putting too much pressure on yourself. I know a lot of times if I'm going out for the 7th, it's always, hey, Burkhalter's in the pen, he's protecting you. And so for me, it kind of frees me up for that inning. And I think our defense and hitters can kind of say the same thing too. I feel like they don't really have to press and worry and stress about anything. They know he's going to go out there and be solid for everybody.
This will be our last question for the players.
Kind of for all 3 of you. I know you played Ole Miss earlier this year. They were #1 team in the country at the time. Of course, it's been a while. Just how would you say that you guys have grown as a unit since then?
I think we've just kind of grown and like growing into our team identity. And those first couple weeks you're playing other people, when you hit the SEC and conference play, you kind of hit the ground running just to you got to figure out who you are real quick. And I think from that weekend on, we just kind of figured out who we were going to be and what we were going to do.
I think that we're on a little bit more of autopilot than we were that first SEC weekend, where things are just happening and we're not having to think about it. And obviously, this deep into the season, that's what you want from a team, is things just to happen. And you don't think, you just do. That's one of Coach Thompson's quotes, and I think that's what we're looking forward to. Is we're not going to think about the first time we played them. We're just going to play our game and try to play it at a high level.
Yeah, since we played them the first time, we kind of hit our stride. That first weekend, SEC weekend, everybody's jittery and ready to go, but at the same time, not everything's solidified, not everything's where you want it to be. So it's kind of 2 different teams playing Saturday, so it'll be fun to see.
Okay, guys, as a reminder, locker rooms are closed for all media members at all times, and you please work with the team SID for additional requests. Is George in the room? Okay, George Nunley, he's there. He's the contact. So, guys, you 3 are excused, and good luck. And we'll wait till they clear here to ask questions for you, Butch. Please again, provide your name and media affiliation when you ask a question every time. This is for the benefit of our transcriptionists and for the people who are watching online or on Zoom, wherever else. So don't forget that. Okay. Starting off, questions for Butch, and we'll start right here with Parrish.
Butch Parrish, Alford Daily Journal from near your hometown. Roy Cressup was talking to me earlier this week, and he kind of took credit, I guess, for your philosophy of pitching to batters in 0-2 counts. Said you were more aggressive, less likely to waste a pitch. Does Roy remember that right? Is that still your philosophy?
I have no idea what Roy's talking about. I'm kidding. It's good to see you, man. Anybody back from home, it puts a smile on my face. Roy Cressup was like a father to me, and all I ever wanted as a young coach was to be the head coach at Itawamba Community College where I played, you know. And then that road absolutely changed, and we had our first daughter who's here. So the opportunity I had to come to Itawamba Community College passed me because Robin was 8 months pregnant. But Roy was 25 years there, and he was, you know, he cut me at Itawamba Community College. And he had a Dodge pickup, I remember, because I followed him back to his office. And I said, "You cannot cut me." And my freshman year at Itawamba, I had to buy my uniform, and I had to pay for all my meals on the road because he only had 27 uniforms. So he taught me more than just 2 strikes or anything. And that's what Glavin and Maddox would do with 0-2. Maddox might throw it right down the middle, you know. So our game's changed a lot since Roy Cressett was coaching. But there's no doubt it was the first man that loved pitching like I did. And it was the first time I'd been coached in pitching in my career. So I was kind of slow and a late bloomer. But, you know, we still talk to this day because him and Brenda mean the world to me and taught me so much. And there's so many people, right? When a coach gets to this stage and you get to come to Omaha and you start looking around, you think of a Roy Cressett and a Brian Shoup and a John Cohen. You think of every coach that you worked for and every influence that you've had. And it is a great time to, you know, back in the hotel during these downtimes when you get by yourself to thank these people. And I just appreciate you bringing up the name Roy Cressett. It's dear to me.
Yeah, follow up.
One more question, please. One follow-up. He said there was a particular game, he called it a College World Series game, where you attacked a hitter in an 0-2 count and lost on a 3-run home run in the 9th or something like that. I couldn't connect the dots on it. I couldn't find it. Do you have that memory?
Yeah, I don't think that ever happened either. I think he's wrong. I remember running another team's dugout, but I don't remember the home run. I'm kidding. I gave up a bunch. That's why I've been coaching so long. Yeah.
Okay, in the back, Jordan.
Jordan McAlpin at the Omaha World Herald. Butch, obviously Sonny's brought a lot to your guys' lineup this year. Talk about the impact he's had, but also going back initially, what appealed to you about him?
When you meet him initially, I think if we get to hang around, if we play good enough baseball, I think ever how many they put out here is going to love him, going to respect him. I thought it was instant with our people. It was instant with our clubhouse, as you can hear these guys talk about, and he'll do the same thing. It's genuine. It's not manufactured. It's real, and he's good. I think if you look at it from an analytical or metric standpoint, he may have more impact on our team than any other player in college baseball if you really look at the numbers. But then him rivaling that as a person and the genuineness of it, you'll see it. You know, he had us from hello. And I'm so thankful that a player like him with that much charisma and really that much game gets an opportunity to play in a setting like this.
Hey, Mike.
Coach Mike Patterson, Omaha World Herald. Could you tell us who your starters are going to be Saturday and just your thoughts on playing Ole Miss?
Our starter will be Joseph Gonzalez. He's pitched for us a lot this year. He was out that first portion of the year, so I know he did not pitch against Ole Miss the first time around. But he's kind of been thrown in the 3 hole for us, or the 3rd slot there. And as we've just worked through, we've got into the 2 slot, and we eventually got into the 1 slot because he missed some time early in the year. So arguably, at the end of the day, he's probably our best starter. It's gone the longest per start, and we're excited to let Joseph get an opportunity to start us off here. You know, all 8 teams are at the halfway point. You know, to win the big one, you got to win a regional, a super, and basically all you're doing is entering another regional now, and then there'll be one more super regional. So we're lining it up. We know those first 2 games of a regional is so important for every club, but Joseph gets us off to a good start. Parrish may be able to help me. Did DeLucia pitch against us? Game 3 innings out of the pen, and he done an amazing job how he hooked it up for Ole Miss in this stretch run. So we saw him 3 innings out of the pen, and I think he'll be Ole Miss's starter, and that it should be interesting for the 2 clubs. I know the fans are going to enjoy every bit of it, but that pitching matchup with these 2 guys that really didn't play this role the first time around, that's another piece to the intrigue, I guess.
Over here.
Hey, Butch, John Sokoloff at WCBI TV down in Columbus, another close to a local guy, I guess, here. Obviously, your familiarity with both State and Ole Miss throughout your life. I'm sure you're incredibly familiar, but now this will be the fourth consecutive year that a team from Mississippi is in the College World Series. Based on being from there and having such a passion for it, I mean, how big do you think that is for the state?
Yeah, I think it's huge, especially State, so small and so much pride. And, I think about a lot of things. I think about Walter Payton. I think about Favre. I think some of the best in everything. I think Jerry Rice. I just think of the ball players that's come out of our state and the people that's come out of our state have been, some of the guys second to none. It's been pretty incredible. So we all got each other's back. Bryson Ware's an outfielder that plays for us, and he's from that Jackson metro area there. Every time you see somebody from the state of Mississippi, we all are rooting for somebody from the state of Mississippi. And I grew up about, 50 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour from Starkville, about an hour and 10 from Oxford, and about an hour and a half from Alabama there. I call it the Bermuda Triangle growing up. So, if you cared about sports, and I love baseball, and, once I latched into baseball, it's just been a mecca. And you think about at our school, a Hal Baird and a Ron Polk, and what those guys have just built this SEC brand that we get to experience today. I was with Keith Madison in the hotel today at Kentucky for 25 years. Those men, they have paved a way for us to get our league to where it is now, and there's been a lot of Mississippi imprint on it. Scott Berry's a good man at Southern Miss. I got to talk to him today, and had a club that Ole Miss had to go through was a tall order, just like the tough. Whoever gets here had to go through a pretty tough road to be able to get here. And in baseball in the state of Mississippi, there is a lot of pride. And even though I'm at Auburn in the neighboring state, I got a lot of pride in the folks that's done so well and come out of the great state of Mississippi.
Quick follow-up. Who did you grow up rooting for?
Yeah, I guess I was an Ole Miss fan. My father was there was a time there, I was born in 70, 51, even though I look 38.
Me too.
It was Archie Manning. And that created a whole generation, I think, that just drew people. When you're right in the middle and you choose sides, that Archie Manning era it got my dad. It captured my dad. And, he was one of those shift workers. And but we could go once a year. We'd go to one football game a year, and that'd be a special thing. And I'd go try to steal all the souvenir cups. That was all the cups in our house, is trying to get 70 or 80 of those when I was young. So that changed. I remember my dad, who passed in 18. So he never got to see me be a head coach and bring a team here in 19 when we played Mississippi State. But I didn't let him know that I got the pitching job at Mississippi State when I took it the first time, because he was such an Ole Miss guy. He wouldn't ever let it go. And I got home before he ever heard of it, because you don't hear about anything from Coontail, Mississippi. I had a week to play with. It wasn't all the social media stuff. And I walked in, and he's sitting there at the table, and I threw a Mississippi State hat, and he's like, "Boy, get that out of this house." And I'm like, "I'm the pitching coach at Mississippi State." And he put his head down. He's like, "I guess blood's thicker than water. Let's go." But Ole Miss is the answer. I'm sorry to take you on my personal journey, but it was I was probably a rebel when I grew up. I was there because, I was a pitching coach at Georgia too, and Vince Dooley, first time I sat down with him as a new employee, he had asked me what I knew about the SEC, and I said, "I remember I was in Oxford today. Herschel jumped over that line. He jumped over that pile and landed on his feet and run in the end zone. I was absolutely there, and I hated y'all." But there's some neat stories through the years for sure.
Okay, Joe, more SEC stories, Joe?
More Sonny stuff. When did Sonny first? I'm sorry, Joe Menzer at ESPN SEC Network. When did Sonny first get on your radar, and how? And were you as surprised as some of the rest of us as how well he handled SEC pitching right from the start?
Yeah, I started at the end. Yes, he hit 270 last year, and Casey Dunn was his head coach, and Casey's about as good as a hitting coach is out there, and he hit 21 home runs in 18. So we knew we needed power. This stuff isn't rocket science. So we had Tyler Miller, 16 home runs right there playing first base for us, and we knew he was going to sign and move on. And this was the first year, really, that portal stuff being something that we're going to attack was last year. And, it came to our attention that Casey was leaving Sanford and going to be the head coach at UAB, and a couple of good players, because it's not just Sonny. It's Chase Isabel that's coming on for us late. His last 11 innings, look back at that. He was a surgery guy about 13 months now. He's starting to make an impact for us. That's another one. And there's also Brooks Carlson, who would probably be in our lineup as a DH. So it was all three of them. But Sonny, I guess, has made the biggest jump in impact off of his numbers from last year. Sonny's honest answer, because I've asked him, I beat you to the punch on that, and I'm like, why 560 on base percentage? And he's probably getting close to 70 walks now. So when you look at his RBIs and you look at his home runs, and you're like, man, there's some guys in college baseball that had more. Well, you take those 70 at bats out of there, because most of those 70 are them not wanting to fool with him. His numbers could have been astronomical, but they've elected not to pitch to him a bunch. And he really credited the 4-umpire system, the advent of the TrackMan, maybe with I'm trying to find the right proper words of respect, that strike zone is where he's not having to chase and try to do other things to have at bats. He had to carry something. He didn't have to carry as much for us. And I think it's a little better strike zone to where then when that slider rolls off 3 or 4 balls off the plate, he can get a ball out of it now, because so much is on TV, so much is evaluated with our SEC umpires, et cetera. That in the past, that when that ball's called 2 or 3 balls off the plate consistently, has to go for it. And nobody's good at hitting a pitch a foot outside or a foot above or a foot in, 2 balls in. So I think it's allowed him to get to his truest, smallest strike zone of his career. And he does have great evaluation skills. He's got 2 things that are an extreme high level. And once you can get past his body type, because that's the elephant in the room with him, his evaluation of being able to take balls and swing at strikes is elite. And his bat quickness is that of like a Dylan Cruz. And Dylan Cruz looks like he's ready to be in a big league game tomorrow. Sonny possesses a couple of those skills. They're exactly the same, with bat quickness, shortness to the ball, exit velocities, and his evaluation of the strike zone. And I think this year he's playing with a smaller strike zone than what he did the last 2 years by being in our conference.
Okay, right here.
Butch, Jason Caldwell, inside Auburn Tigers, Auburn 247. Kaysen, the guy that has done so much for your team. If people, what do they need to know about him other than looking at his offensive numbers and how important he is for you guys?
Yeah, Howell. Yeah, nice to meet you, Jason. A winner. Kaysen recruited us. His story's neat too. He had, the Big 12, some other awesome teams, but they were in Auburn, Alabama when he was like 10 to 12 years old, and his father was working in a football program. And they left, and they've been living in Texas ever since, and never heard of Kaysen Howell until he called me and said, hey, I got these offers. Would y'all look at me? And I'm like, yeah, I'll call you back. Called him back like 2 hours later, and I'm like, yeah, come on. So that's how super recruiters we are. He makes some plays. I don't know, it kind of was national, that catch he made at Jacksonville State over the wall. But really, it's all those intermediate plays that he makes that looks like he's not even hustling. We're pretty good up the middle now. And this should be a World Series ball club when you take Nate LaRue behind the plate, Foster and Moore in the middle infield, and Kaysen Howell. Kaysen Howell makes us a World Series team. He did it his freshman year, and he's done it again. And these guys, my best guys, that's 3 of them right there, they do more for our team than what you see them do in their at-bats or how they play defense. It's what they're doing with the rest of that ball club. Kaysen Howell would run through any wall for us and has had trouble staying healthy because he always goes for it. But these guys are leading other guys. Carson Skipper will grab somebody, and I don't have to, and get with anybody to make things right and keep us, making our boat go faster, if you will. And Kaysen has that as well, and he's just a steady presence. He's probably started more games for us in the last 4 years than anybody. And George, maybe look and see who's the most games started ever in an Auburn uniform. If he comes back next year, I think he'll have a chance to pass that. But he ought to be getting close now. He has been unbelievable, and he actually recruited himself to Auburn because he had such an impression on it as a young person. And when somebody's a really good player and they got great work ethic, and they would rather be at your place than anywhere else in America, I mean, that's going out of style right now. That makes him a special, special person, player.
Adam, this will be our last question.
Adam Cole, OA News. Butch, I wanted to ask you about Tim Hudson and just what the impact has been that he's had on your pitching staff since he joined your squad.
Yeah, he's had a hell of a tough time. 2020 we play 18 games. Welcome to college baseball. He was on the Hall of Fame ballot last year, so he's been able to pitch at an extremely high level and a gifted athlete. And he only missed games or starts when he was having an arm surgery. So he's a gifted, phenomenal athlete. Coaching's a different ball game. I think everybody knows that. So 20, he had that, and a bunch of his boys got hurt last year, and it was tough, and he grinded it out. I think somebody could do a quick Google search and see that Tim Hudson does not have to be getting up every day and grinding to coach college baseball to make ends meet. He's very gifted. This is his heart as a player, where he played here in Omaha, and how cool is it that he gets to coach here. And I don't think he'll do this for 20 years. I think this was his deal in 20, and we're here in 22, and he's grown himself. And he's absolutely made a difference in these players. They would run through any wall for Tim, but I've seen him grow so much. But all he wanted to do was give back to Auburn. And, you have to get in there pretty early. You got to be on top of your game to beat him. Some of these guys that are uber elite athletes, they don't just have this skill. They have the ability to focus for a long period of time. Tim Hudson can walk in the room and stay there for 8 hours. When we have a camp, he'll make sure that he touches and watches every pitch of every kid that paid to come and invest in that camp. There's some special elite stuff with him from what he's done by being able to come back in our program that I'll never forget. And I'm going to enjoy every day that he continues to want to do this for the program, whether it's over at the end of this year or we got 3-4 more years together, who knows. But he wanted to give back to Auburn because Auburn springboarded a career for him. And I'll forever be grateful. And I told him today as we're taking that picture out there at that statue, how much I respected him, how much I appreciated him, and how excited I am that not only was he a great player and won the National Player of the Year as a hitter and a pitcher, but he gets to coach an Auburn pitching staff in Omaha as well. It's a really nice piece for icing on top of the cake for him to put on his Auburn deal. And he graduated last year, so it only took 25 years or whatever, but he's got an Auburn degree, and then he's leading his pitching staff. He's in a great place, and I am so thankful. It's been invaluable to have him part of our coaching staff and being part of our program. It's been, I probably can't put it into good words for you to get out there, but I think you know what I mean.
Okay. We had no Zoom calls from Coonville? Okay. That's good.
No, it's still not there.
Thank you, guys. As a reminder, recording of this press conference will be available at the NCAA Digital Media Hub, and transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you.